Lance Russell and Dave Brown right along ringside, and we're ready to go with another big one. I hope you are, as a matter of fact. By golly, Davey, what do we got lined up today?
Oh, get ready for Billy Travis coming in here in the opening match today. He's going to be in a single match. Rip Rogers will be along later. The Mod Squad will be here today, too. Dutch Mantell taking on an opponent in a single match, and then an expiration of time match that won't quit. We're going to have the team of Jeff Jarrett and Joe LeDuc in here today.
It'll be interesting to see those guys go together. What you have told me is that we have, as usual, some good news and some bad news.
Right.
And boy, we got some bad news, too. Hey, we've got an interesting tape today that I don't think you've seen, and I think it'll be interesting to hear. Not from the standpoint of coming across with any truthful things. I'm just simply saying we're going to see a version of what has happened by Bill Dundee and Buddy Landel. And we gave them complete authority to go ahead and do whatever they're going to do in terms of the tapes and all of that. That'll be interesting to see. We're going to be back with the first round of action with the International Heavyweight Champ, Billy Travis, in just a moment.
We are ready to go here with this match as Billy Travis has the International Heavyweight title handed out of the ring there, and we are underway. Masked Patriot going against him here.
Yeah, non-title bout, David, obviously, with the belt in there. We didn't want to have any confusion.
Yeah, right.
It's a one-fall, 15-minute time limit bout with the Patriot going against Billy Travis. Hey, he hooked him, tripped him forward down to the rope. So good move by the Patriot.
Patriot's a fighter, but boy, he's going against one, too, and Billy Travis. Young man has really, really developed the last, well, not the last year, the last 6 months he's come a long way. And that international belt that you saw at the beginning of the match is proof of it. Championship caliber wrestler, no doubt about it. The Patriot using the ropes effectively there for himself.
I don't think there's any question either, Davey, that you can tie the time and the real improvement and change right to when Frank Morrell took over kind of as a friend and consultant to Billy. Boy, as we said last week, as a matter of fact, I believe it was, it's just amazing what a matter of difference in terms of confidence now that Billy does have that belt. That was a tough win when he took that away from Gaddafi, and he really has shown the confidence in the ring. Patriot using the ropes very, very well to get out of his troubles that he's been in, and those have been numerous.
And maybe more.
Yes.
Backed under the ropes, Billy Travis takes a right fist. Referee trying to get the Patriot back. Patriot smacks Billy Travis again, but now Billy reverses. He used the open hand. That was legal. He really smacked him hard, though. Flips him back to the center of the ring, and the masked Patriot finds himself sitting on the mat.
We've got a dandy expiration of time match coming up today. It's going to be a tag bout that'll have Gaddafi and Pat Rose together going against Jeff Jarrett and Joe LeDuc. An unlikely pair, to say the very least, but it'll be most interesting to see them in action here on Championship Wrestling. That's a little later in today's program.
Billy Travis trying to take control here from the masked Patriot. The Patriot tried to call timeout. He backed into the corner. Billy went right in there after him. Body slams him in the middle of the ring. Billy around behind him. Get a pretty good look at that hole there. You can see how that would put pressure on the shoulder. There's a little extra heat. The referee checking with the Patriot on possible submission. So far he said no, not giving it up.
Interesting thing, too, about that hole, Dave. When you step over, you kind of cut off other avenues that your opponent may have. Well, that's one way to do it. From behind, nailed by the Patriot. Ooh, big elbow, and Travis down in the middle of the ring. Patriot back out, grabs the hair. Getting ready to shoot him across the ring, but he's cut off at the pass by Billy Travis. Whoa! And he knocked the mask. He didn't even try to put it off. He just hit him so hard, his head snapped, and the mask came right off. Out of the ring he goes with the mask covering his face. The referee starting a count, and he's trying to keep Travis back. I think that's the first time that I've
never seen that happen before. He just hit him, and the mask popped off.
The mask had come untied. Yeah, I believe that's going to be it, partner.
That is it. The masked Patriot counted out as his mask was snapped off by the force of the blow as Billy hit him and his neck snapped and the mask popped off. He grabbed it and got out of here, apparently feeling that protecting the identity was more important than winning the match. So
okay, we're ready to go. As a matter of fact, we got another bout, but obviously we're going to have a little conversation here. The Hustler, Rip Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. You know, the Hustler Rip Rogers is a household name everywhere in this world of professional wrestling. And I've only been in the Mid-South area a short time, but one thing I've seen a lot of wrestlers are concerned with being a pretty boy. You got Jerry the King Lawler going around combing his hair, fixing his clothes, taking his pretty. Jeff Jarrett, he thinks he's a nice little pretty boy. And there's other people, Billy Travis, even a superstar in the Nature Boy. They're too concerned with their looks, Lance Russell. But let me tell the people in the studio, and let me tell everybody in television land that the #1 sex symbol in all professional wrestling today, the man who's won not one, but 2 bodybuilding titles, the man with unlimited zeal and sex appeal is none other than me, the Hustler Rip Rogers.
Well, it's a very positive statement. Certainly no modesty there, but a positive statement.
No modesty intended, Mr. Russell, but I'm getting down to professional wrestling. You know,
what do you think makes a great wrestler?
What I think makes a great wrestler is me, because I took Billy Travis, that international belt, and I turned him every which way but loose. But I noticed in the Mid-South area, there's no way you can get a rematch. And I've been a top contender in everywhere, no matter where I've wrestled in this country.
And you had a match with Billy Travis in there, so you got your opportunity. You did not win it. Now what?
What? Let me tell you something, Lance Russell. I haven't figured Eddie Marlin out yet. But I know one thing. I'm championship caliber. My record speaks for itself. Billy Travis, I'm looking for you. Jerry Lawler, I'm looking for you in that Southern title. I haven't figured Eddie Marlin out yet.
What is it that you think is that makes a great wrestler? You're making allusions to a lot of different things.
If it was looks, it would be the Hustler Rip Rogers. If the world of professional wrestling was based on talent and body and brains, it would be the Hustler Rip Rogers. But Lance Russell, it's not. You know, Lance Russell, the one word of professional wrestling is based on is politics. The whole world is based on politics.
Well, you have your right to your own opinion in there, but you still got to climb in that ring, and you got to make an impression.
Mark it, Lance Russell, about a minute and a half.
Okay, we're going to take a look at it. Let's go to the ring now. The Hustler, Rip Rogers, going against Jamison.
All right. Bell sounds as Rip Rogers, the Hustler, removes the ropes, steps through the ropes, and Jim Jamison already up there waiting for him. Jim wrestling out of Memphis, Tennessee. Rip Rogers out of Seymour, Indiana. Rogers has predicted a victory in a minute and a half here.
Who's bad, baby?
Jamison's head into the turnbuckle. Rip Rogers picks him up by the hair. Yeah, he says he's his. May be right. He jabbed him in the throat then. Rip Rogers drops down on him. Jim Jamison hasn't had a chance here so far. Rogers puts his head into the turnbuckle across the ring. Rogers powers him into the turnbuckle. Rogers taunting him. Picks him up. There's the body slam. Rip Rogers not going for a cover here. Having a good time. He feels like he's got things well in hand here. Through the ropes goes Jamison, thrown down onto the floor.
Boy, he splatted on that floor.
Boy, he sure did.
Ooh.
Rogers says, I'm out here to help him back in the ring. That's all I'm doing out here.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, he did. Just threw him back in the ring.
Surprised us both.
Rogers. Well, he claimed it was an open hand, but it was a double fist as he hit Jamison in the jaw with it. Drops down with his fist. He's choking him. Boy, Rogers using everything here. I'm not even sure it's necessary. He has really overpowered Jamison so far in this match. He's not going to make that minute and a half prediction, though. We're coming up on the 2-minute mark. Upper arm across the back of the neck.
Rip Rogers trying to make an impression, I assume, on not only the assembled multitude, but on Eddie Marlin also. Rolls him into a Boston Crab, full crab, doggone good submission hold, and that's it.
Well, it was 2 minutes, 20 seconds, the time on it, and Rip Rogers
refusing to let loose, and finally does.
He was asking for help for the referee to break the hold. I don't know if he needed that or not. The Boston Crab wraps it up, 2:20 to time.
Submission, the winner, Rip Rogers. More action in just a moment. Back to the action right here on Channel 7's Championship Wrestling coming up in just a moment. Man, looking at that Wednesday night, there's plenty of action right there. And the main event is going to be a 6-man tag match. It's going to be having Bill Dundee, Buddy Landel, and Tony Falk going against the team of Jeff Jarrett, Joe LeDuc, and Jerry the King Lawler. That's all of it. That's just part of it that's going to be in there. You'll be seeing Dundee and Falk with Tony Falk on their side going against a mighty rugged two in LeDuc and Lawler and Jeff Jarrett.
You talk about getting shafted, Lance Russell. We've been shafted from the word go, brother, and you're the guy that started it all. We slapped you. They're going to rub us out for 5 years. Jerry Lawler and the referee beat me in the Southern title match. I asked Eddie Marlin for another cage match, anything without a stinking referee, and he says no. Lawler wants to get in a 6-man tag to hide behind Joe LeDuc, hide behind Jeff Jarrett, but he don't call it hiding, Russell. He says he's taking up the plight of Jeff Jarrett because the nature boy and the superstar beats up on some kid. He wants to wear that crown, ride that big horse to the ring, and tell everybody how great he is. Wrong, Lawler. You ain't fooling me, and you ain't fooling him. You are scared of me, Daddy. You don't want to put that belt up in a single match. Fine. Well, I'm just going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. He's taking the big Canuck out. Tony Falk's taking that kid Jeff Jarrett out, and I'm going to be saved the best for last, Lawler. That's a superstar against you. I'm beating your brains out, punk.
Evansville wants to see that.
Well, let me tell you something, Lance Russell. I don't feel so bad for myself, but look at Bill Dundee's standpoint of view. He helped build this company. He run Jerry Lawler out of town, okay? So you want to get things done, what do? We get right to the core to it. We beat Jarrett's son up. Now, if we wanted to be really bad criminals, we could have put him out permanently. But we're not like that, okay? All right, Lance Russell, admit it or not. Could we put him out or not? Okay? So he gets Jerry Lawler, and he wants Joe LeDuc. Bill Dundee's got a personal grudge with Jerry Lawler. Tony Falk's going to take care of Jeff Jarrett. And Joe LeDuc, I'm going to slap the smile right off your face, Daddy, Evansville, Indiana. Look for it.
Mentioned a little earlier in the opening, Dave, that we had a tape which was put together as a product of the Billy and Buddy combo in terms of some of the matches that took place specifically in Memphis, Tennessee. They wanted to do a little review. Let's take a listen to Landel and Dundee.
You know, but the last time we invited the people up to this video room was when we sat over here and we watched the tape of me beating Big Red Reese, a big fat nothing, and the only people that liked that was you and me and all them other big fat people out there because they could see a big fat athlete, and he's gone. Now, to top it all off, Jerry Lawler, the Southern champion, had told everybody I'm a fighting champion. Now, Gaddafi, everybody knows who Muammar Gaddafi is. He's an idiot, and he's going to try to take over the world, and he can't whoop America, and everybody knows that. And they had the Barbarian flying in. They showed a special on him. The guy's big, and he's bad, and he's a big old athlete, but I don't think he can whip me and you, Budrow. And Lawler's going to wrestle him. So the guys go to fly through Canada, and there's a bomb scare on the thing. They land the airplane, the guy going to get off, and the plane comes about 3 hours late. So Eddie Marlin comes out there. He says, Jerry, what are we going to do? You got to wrestle somebody. He says, I know what we'll do, Jerry. We'll take all the wrestlers that's here on the card tonight, take them into the ring, and the fans can pick out who they want to see you wrestle, right? So Jerry Lawler's in the dressing room, and he says, yeah, okay. But he forgets about one thing. The superstars on the card. So when I get down there, he gets the microphone. He declares to the whole wide world, Budrow, he ain't going to wrestle me. He comes up with the 30-day clause. He says, oh, no. Hey, Dundee, I ain't wrestling you. Not that I'm scared of you, mind you, but there's a 30-day clause, and I don't have to wrestle you. You was scared to death, Lawler. So I said, that's fine. You don't want me to have your belt, Lawler? Well, my good friend Budrow here is overwhelmingly going to be picked. What happens? They have a little contest. It's as bogus as a nose in your face, Russell, because you was the guy that got to do the picking. And he's the guy that started this whole thing in the first place. So it gets all the way down, the noise you make, you boo, you applaud, and whatever. And it kind of gets down, now. It's a 60-40 deal on Tony Falk and the other true blonde of the wrestling business, the only nature boy in the wrestling business. And they're all clapping, and they want to see the nature boy against Jerry Lawler. But who's the judge? Lance Russell. So he picks, he says, oh, no, no, no. Lawler runs over and he whispers, oh, yeah, and I know you think we're bragging and we're lying to you. Well, we ain't, because we got it all on tape, folks. It was concocted from the start, from Lance Russell to Jerry Lawler, that he didn't want to wrestle me, and he didn't want to wrestle the Nature Boy, and we got it all on tape. Now, it's overwhelming because we got it, and you'll see him right here in black and white, folks, or in color, or whatever little TV you got. If some of you rednecks still got black and white, that's up to you. Well, right here in this video room, Daddy, we have got a tape of it. Jerry Lawler was scared of me, and he was scared of the Nature Boy, and Lance Russell, mind you, the guy at Budrow slaps or I slap, will be put out of the wrestling business in Memphis or all around this area for 5 years, was the judge. Now, you think that's fair? Oh, and I know what you say. No, 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 they're sitting there lying. Well, we ain't lying, folks. It's right here. Just come on with me, Mr. Cameraman, and zoom in on this monitor right here, and we'll show it to you.
There were, whoa, look at Lawler go at Falk. Shoulder, Tony zapped with that big right hand of Lawler. Again, as his head popped off the top turnbuckle. At least approaching it and not trying to brutalize Falk. He's hot now. Slashes him with that belt, picks Falk up, dumps him down hard in the middle of the ring. Lawler, two. The ring rope drops.
Well, there you have it, folks. We're not saying that a title match never took place, and we ain't selling Tony Falk short, because Tony's just like Jeff Jarrett. He's trying to get his first win. Now, we like Tony, and a lot of people out there probably like Jeff Jarrett, but we're not selling him short. But that match should never take place because it was concocted by Lance Russell, Eddie Marlin, and the whole stinking Jarrett clan, and especially you, Lawler, and it just showed what you are, a bogus coward champion. Right, Budrow?
Well, Bill, let me just tell you something. See, what everybody wants to know what Jerry Lawler whispered in Lance Russell's ear. Well, when we were both out there, the first thing he whispered in his ear was, man, I can't take another extended vacation. If I wrestle at Dundee, I'm going to be not only out of a belt, but I'm going to be out of here again. And I can't wrestle that Landel because God Almighty and everybody knows that he'll beat me. So Jerry Lawler, to save face with the people, Bill, he's sitting back there in the dressing room with his head and his tail between his legs, and he's going, oh, my gosh, I have just exposed myself not only to the people in Memphis, but it's on tape, my God, to the whole world. What do I do now? So we're out there and we're beating Joe LeDuc and Jeff Jarrett's brains in. So Jerry Lawler, he's saying, I know what I can do. When they're out of breath and they got their backs turned, I can jump in the ring and become the savior again. Can you believe? Why don't you just punch some of this up, Bill, and to show the people really what Jerry Lawler's really like.
Here's Lawler into the ring. Nails Landel, nails Dundee, catches Tony Falk.
Well, Budrow, like we keep saying before, a lot of people say we was bragging, but we wasn't bragging because it's right here on film. Now, Jerry Lawler, man, I'm telling you, man, you have exposed yourself to the whole world of what a coward you are. So we got to take our hat off to that, brother. Oh, yeah. Because like a lot of things, it's got to come out of the closet, Daddy, and you have. We thought he was a closet coward, but not you, Lawler. You did it all on film, Jack. So everybody in the whole wide world knows exactly what you are, and what you are, Daddy, is scared of the Nature Boy and the Superstar.
Well, as usual, most of the things that Landel and Dundee say don't make a whole lot of sense, and that was no exception right there. They just have to simply keep trying to cover up all of the things that are happening to them. Jerry.
Lance, good to see you. Listen, I just want to come out here. You know, I sit back in the back, and I watch all this garbage on a monitor there, and I hear Bill Dundee and Buddy Landel telling their version of the story. Well, I got, you know, I had a little forewarning of this. You know, of course, all the people don't realize, though, that we have a couple of guys that work. They work real hard through the week, and they do all the taping of the wrestling matches down on Monday nights and throughout the week. And they put these films together. One of them is Ken Parnell, the other is Randy West. And Randy West gave me a call, and he said, look, Bill Dundee and Buddy Landel came over to his house, and they went through all the films of the matches that took place down there at the Coliseum. And they had him edit together their little version of what they said took place. But now anybody that wasn't there and that are just watching this on television now, I mean, you know, they made it look very believable. They made it look convincing that that's what took place, that I was scared of Dundee, that I didn't want to wrestle him. Well, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you what really took place down there. It's true, the first part of the story, the Barbarian didn't show up For what reason, I don't know. All we know is that they said his plane was going to be 3 hours late. Well, whatever, he wasn't there. So Eddie Marlin came to me and he said, look, we're going to line up all the wrestlers. I thought this was a great idea. We line up all of the wrestlers. We'll let the fans decide who you're going to wrestle. I said, that's great. That's fine. But I said, with one exception. I am not going to give Bill Dundee a title shot after the way he made me wait for over 4 months before I could get a shot at the Southern Heavyweight Championship. I'm not going to give Bill Dundee a title shot within 1 week of winning it from me, right?
Jerry, and I can verify, you said that when it first came up before you ever got out to the ring or anything else.
That's exactly right. And I also said, Dundee, I told him, I looked him right in the eyes and I said, I'll be glad to wrestle you right here in front of everybody.
That's right.
But not for the belt.
That's right.
That's when Dundee refused. He turned tail and went to the dressing room, and then the contest began to see who the people wanted me to wrestle, and I guess everybody had in the back of their mind that they knew that this jerk Tony Falk was the man who helped Dundee win that loser leave town match, so they wanted to see me get revenge on Falk. Well, that's exactly what happened. They didn't cheer when they put their hand over Buddy Landel. Nobody wanted to see me wrestle Buddy Landel. They wanted Tony Falk, and that's exactly what happened. So what we've got right now, I've got a little piece of film that Randy West sent down, and you're going to see, as they say sometimes, the rest of the story, if we can run that right now.
This is what happened. Lawler could get the referee's attention. Falk had attacked him, and he pounded him with that belt wrapped around his hand. And now he's got him choked. You know, Randy, I think Falk figures it this way. If he gets disqualified, he doesn't care because he didn't really want to go anyhow. And so he's just pulling out all the stops on Lawler.
He just made him mad, Lancer. The strap comes down, and I wouldn't want to be in Tony Falk's shoes right now for anything in the world.
Scratch the comment that I made about Lawler at least approaching it and not trying to brutalize Falk. He's hot now. Slashes him with that belt, picks Falk up, dumps him down hard in the middle of the ring. Lawler to the ring rope, drops down with a big right hand. Uh-oh, here comes Dundee and Landel. Lawler's pulled off. It'll be a disqualification. 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Landel and Dundee coming in. Lawler wins it by disqualification, but Dundee and Landel stomp it away on Lawler. Referee trying to get, ooh, boy, trying to get Landel out of there. Here comes Tony Falk, slips a belt around Jeff Jarrett's neck. Gonna be a disqualification. LeDuc and Jeff Jarrett will win. 12 minutes, 13 seconds.
Okay, Lance, so what we're looking at right here is the later match in which Joe LeDuc and Jeff Jarrett were going against Dundee and Landel. See, these are the two things they failed to mention. They failed to mention that they ran in on my match with Falk, and that Tony Falk then ran in on this match here, and that's the only reason that I came in, as you're going to see
Dundee
here.
and Landel both on Joe LeDuc. Joe got his belt off, but Landel gets it around his neck. Referee Jerry Calhoun is down, while Falk continues to choke Jerry Jarrett. Here's Lawler into the ring. Nails Landel, nails Dundee, catches Tony Falk.
Well, that, as I said, Lance, is the rest of the story. As I said, they failed to mention that they ran in on my match and that Tony Falk ran in on the match with Jeff Jarrett and Joe LeDuc. Let me just say this, Dundee, you and Landel both. You know, and all of the people know, and I know, that you are a couple of low-life, stinking, slimy liars. The truth ain't in you. You would tell a lie when the truth would do better. You don't want to ever come out here and say anything that would be, you know, that would be the truth. All you want to do is tell a lie. You talk about Jeff Jarrett. You talk about the title situation. Dundee, you're no more a champion, and you're no more a people's champion. You're the worst champion that has ever worn the Southern Heavyweight Championship belt, and that's why you're not going to get another title shot as far as I'm concerned. And if you think I'm afraid of you, and if you think you can make these people out here believe that I'm afraid of you, you got another thing coming, punk. Because you have never seen the day that the king is afraid of you or Landel. Anytime, any place, anywhere you want me, brother. Believe me, I'm not hard to find. Dundee and Landel, I'm going to be looking you up, and I'm going to show you. And I'm going to prove to you and everybody else just what liars you are. I'm going to make a believer out of you, punk.
Okay, Jerry the King Lawler, back in just a moment. Of your time. First, to tell you that on Sunday, May the 4th in Versailles, Indiana, Championship Wrestling coming your way with an outstanding group of wrestlers, and by golly, you'll want to make your plans to be out there Sunday, May the 4th, Versailles, Indiana. Sunday, May the 18th, down the road, Fort Knox. Be looking forward to bringing Championship Wrestling in there. Now let's take a look at Wednesday night, Evansville Coliseum. I like it. 6 big matches on a full card. Yamamoto against the Invader. Pat Tanaka against Pat Rose. Paul Diamond will be facing the Hustler Rip Rogers, and then we're talking about Billy Travis and Phil Hickerson, little grudge tag match against JD Costello's Mod Squad. It'll be a bullwhip on the pole match. You'll want to see that one. Abdul Gagafi is going to be trying to get up the pole to get Dutch Mantell, and then the final event is going to be Bill Dundee, Buddy Landel, and Tony Falk going against the team of Jerry Lawler, Joe LeDuc, and Jeff Jarrett. All of that coming up Wednesday night, Evansville. Okay, we're about ready to go. The next big one coming out right now is the Mod Squad, Spike and Basher, along with Tony Falk.
Yes, Lance Russell, I have some sad news today. You may know that the last week JD Costello hasn't been able to be with his Mod Squad.
I know he had missed some matches, yes.
That's right. I tell you why, Lance Russell. His mother in New Orleans became very ill about a week and a half ago, and they requested that JD come there and be by her side. Well, this Friday, she passed away.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
That's sad. I know how that is. And he asked me, he called me on the phone and said, Tony, would you go out with my Mod Squad and look after him in my absence until I return? He's got to settle the estate. From what I understand, that's a pretty big estate, so he may be there, you know, whatever time it takes. But he asked me, and I said, sure, I don't mind it at all. So right now, I'm going to be with the Mod Squad.
You're going to be in the corner of the Mod Squad. Okay, you got a match coming up, Spike and Basher, the Mod Squad. Southern Tag Team Champions Tony Falk standing in for JD Costello. Bell time as the jackets and helmets come off. We're about ready for the action. Okay, here we go. Going against Morrell and Haskins.
All right, Frank Morrell starting for his team. Frank weighing in at about 260 pounds. And the Mod Squad. Both of these guys big. Spike and Basher.
Interesting team of Morrell and Haskins. Both of them got good size. Frank, of course, a big fella at about 250, and he is a rough and tough son of a gun. Wrestled for years as the spoiler and whipped a lot of bodies, and he doesn't mind doing it if that's what it takes.
He's over to the corner now for the tag on his partner, young David Haskins. Haskins has got to feel glad he's got a partner of Frank Morrell's experience as he goes against these guys here. Good drop kick.
Yes, sir.
Nice one by Haskins.
A little leapfrog, drop kick, bars that arm, and David Haskins kind of inspired by Frank, as Billy Travis was. Whoa, a little too quick.
Yeah, he went for that drop kick, and the Mod Squad helping each other out. Well, Haskins missed it by a mile. Boy, how many times have we seen a missed drop kick turn the tide in a match?
Turn the entire situation around. Absolutely right. Here's Frank Morrell, who comes in and grabs the Mod Squad, Spike and Basher. Now Falk jumps up on the ring apron, and from behind, Morrell nailed by Basher, and Spike ripping away at him as he had a chain on his hand, didn't he, Dave?
He had a chain wrapped around his knuckles.
Boy, I'll tell you, he popped him open, too. I'm looking at the blood on Spike where he's been pounded on Frank Morrell, and his chest is covered with it. He had a chain on his hand, and when Morrell came in, helping out his partner when they were double teaming, and Falk jumped up on the ring apron, Frank Morrell came ripping across, and boy, I'll tell you what, the Mod Squad didn't take them long to pull that chain out and start pounding on him. Morrell trying to battle his way back.
Spike in the ring. Basher was trying to help from outside when they were over in the corner. But Frank taking a wild swing, his forehead cut open.
Tag on Basher, and Spike has done his damage, turns him over to his partner. Morrell, the referee trying to protect him over there on the side, and David Haskins comes in and attacks the Mod Squad. Basher, Tony Falk comes in, and that's going to be a disqualification as Falk pile drives David Haskins, while the other two, they got that chain back out and ripping on Frank Morrell.
They got Falk with another pile driver on David Haskins. When Falk jumped in the ring, that was disqualification right there, so the Mod Squad's going to lose it. But they're really doing some damage. Now they're choking Morrell, pounding him with that chain wrapped around their wrist.
Mod Squad, insane stuff to jump on somebody and pound them with a chain, and got three of them going at him. Falk has already gotten them disqualified, and he comes over, and he's kicking away on Morrell. Oh, man, oh, man. Here comes Billy Travis. Dutch Mantell. Travis Mantell, Jeff Jarrett out. The Mod Squad take off. Big Joe LeDuc, Eddie Marlin out, and Frank Morrell is flaked out in that ring. Good night. They pound on him. Look at that head. He is covered with blood, Dave. They had that chain, had him down, choking him and pounding him with a chain at the same time. And now they're trying to get him out. I'll tell you, best thing we can do, the winners
are going to be Frank Morrell and David Haskins by disqualification.
Okay, they're taking Frank back to see if they can work on him, get him in a little better shape. We'll take time out. We'll be back in just a moment. You're really proud of yourself, and you're part of that situation with Frank Morrell there. No excuse in that kind of thing, Tony.
Let me tell you something, Lance Russell. Frank Morrell got exactly what he deserved. Shut up at that. Let me tell you something. He had no business trying to rub them Mad Squad's face in a mat, and he got exactly what he deserved. But let me tell you something else. You got this punk, Jeff Jarrett. I can't wait to get my hands on him. And Jerry the King Lawler, you geek, you. I can't wait to get my hands on you. And Joe LeDuc, you know, he's a madman. He should be somewhere in a nut house. He shouldn't be allowed to wrestle. He's crazy. But, you know, I've been real busy looking after Gaddafi and the Mod Squad now. My hands are full, but I know, Lance Russell, I can handle the job. I know I can. But Dutch Mantell, if you think for 1 minute you're going to be able to go through Abdul Gaddafi, brother, you got another thing coming. But this is a Libyan warrior, and he's going to chew you up and spit you out, Dutch Mantell.
Well, the Dutchman has had a lot of tough opponents, and come on, Billy! Gaddafi nails Travis from behind, and there, Billy, there's a time. Ooh. Uh-oh. We need some help. Billy's in trouble here. Falk and Gaddafi, both of them, stomping away on Billy Travis. coming at him. Travis bleeding now where they busted him open.
Get up. Come on, sit down.
Here comes the Dutchman. Dutch peels Falk out of there and goes after Gaddafi. Once again, Mantell.
Come on, Billy. Come on.
He needs cleaning up, Dutch. Oh, well, tell you what, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Tony Falk deserved more than that for what he's been involved in just a short time. And this guy irritates me so much in the fact that here's a guy who's struggling to try to win his first match, and he acts like he's the biggest champion and promoter and big dealer in the country. Coming out right now, The Undertaker. Let's get ready to go to the ring, Davey.
All right, got a one fall 15-minute time limit match coming up here. That's The Undertaker. You can barely see him over on the left of the screen. And here comes back Dutch Mantell. Dutch out here just a moment ago to help out Billy Travis. And now he's in here for the match officially. One fall 15-minute time limit. Referee Jerry Calhoun is telling The Undertaker, come on, got to lose the robe now. He's wrestling under the mask. And the Dutchman takes off the sweatshirt, and we're ready to go. Undertaker we have seen before. He is part of a tag team that was in here a few months ago, the Undertakers, plural.
I think he's the bigger of the two Undertakers.
He is indeed.
He's a good-sized son of a gun, I'll tell you. Big, strapping.
He's going against a guy who also wears black tights and doesn't back up from anybody, Dutch Mantell. And the Undertaker out of the ring.
I don't know what Dutch is saying something to the crowd.
I couldn't hear what he said, but he said something to the crowd, and they liked it, whatever it was he said.
Well, he's...
Oh, yeah, oh, I see. He said already one mask has come off today, and there may be another one off before this match is over.
Dutch is in a great frame of mind. Boy, he got tuned up with that little skirmish with Falk and Gaddafi. And you don't have to do much tuning to get Dutch on ready, I'll tell you that. He is sitting on ready most of the time when it comes to taking care of his business, and he grabs the Undertaker's arm, twists it around.
He pounds it hard, and the Undertaker...
Still going after that?
Yeah, he was still going after that mask, and the Undertaker slipped out of the ring to try to make sure the mask did not come off.
What was that big voice I heard?
I don't know.
We had a little acoustical reverberations going on in here.
So we were at a Coliseum or Rupp Arena or the Gardens or somewhere there for a minute.
Mantell! A little reverberation going on inside the head of the Undertaker as the Dutchman going after that mask. The referee says, leave the mask alone, Dutch, and wrestle the man.
You know, Dutch is keeping him distracted by going after that mask, so it's good strategy. I'm not sure Dutch needs it. Well, maybe I better rethink that statement there. The Undertaker coming in with a right hand. He wears a glove on the right hand, and he's pounding Dutch about the forehead with it right now. Brings the foot up. Undertaker off the rope. Boy, a lot of momentum when he comes off those ropes. He's a heavyweight. Mantell back to the corner, then drops down.
They have him.
He did get it. Down to 3 at 2 minutes, 41 seconds, and Dutch still going after the mask. And the Undertaker makes it out of the ring, mask intact for the time being.
We've still got Jeff Jarrett, Joe LeDuc to face Gaddafi and Pat Rose. All of that will be after we take time out. For the including that bullwhip on the pole match, and the big main event. It's going to be a six-man with Dundee, Landel, and Falk going against Lawler, Joe LeDuc, and Jeff Jarrett. Son of a gun, Jeff, I'll say one thing. You got a couple of real heavyweights with you.
I do, Lance. I'm just glad I get to be in the same ring, because it's an honor to be in the same ring with these guys. But they know, and I think the people know, that I don't have a chance against a Dundee or Landel. But all I'm going to try to do is hold up my end of the team, and I think I can do that against Tony Falk.
I think so too, Jeff. I appreciate that, brother. Let me just say this real quick to Bill Dundee, Lance. I am sick and tired. I've had it up to right here of standing out here and listening to that little twerp run his mouth about how I'm scared of him. Let me tell you something, Dundee. You've never seen the day in your life, and you never will see the day when I'm scared of you, punk. Anytime, any place you want me, I'm going to be there. I'm not hard to find, brother. And Wednesday night in Evansville, Indiana, I'm going to show you. You start that match if you've got so much guts, brother, and I'll start it for my team, and we'll see who's scared of who, you jerk.
Joe LeDuc will be there looking for Buddy Landel.
Buddy Landel, Bill Dundee, Tony Falk. You know, I'm glad to be Lawler's partner now, because I know when the man's mad, he can hit. And when he hits, they go down. Now, Jeff Jarrett, all we want you to do is exactly what you said. Take care of Tony Falk, and we take care of the rest. Buddy Landel, you tell everybody, Lance Russell, everybody that wants to listen and watch you, you're going to slap my face. Actually, you're going to slap my smile off my face. First of all, anybody that ever see me smile on this television, I dare you to come and say it. So you ain't going to slap me. You can slap me all you want. Show me how much of a man you are.
Oh, we are ready for what ought to be a most interesting final event right here on Championship Wrestling, David.
Should be indeed. We've got a tag team match with Tony Falk over in the corner of Pat Rose and Abdul Gaddafi. But going against, look at that, Big Joe LeDuc and Jeff Jarrett. Been looking forward to it all along. And we're finally to the expiration of time main event of the day. Referee Jerry Calhoun is telling Tony Falk, sit down in the chair and stay there. I hope he listens.
Mighty good idea.
I doubt he will.
A couple of real bulls squaring off in there right now, Gaddafi and LeDuc. These are two very large gentlemen. An interesting pairing with LeDuc and Jeff Jarrett. By the way, I was impressed with Jeff, a comment that he made. Jeff was saying that he needs to be in the gym learning, but because his name is Jarrett, he's forced to be in the ring wrestling, and that's a very, very good comment to make, and shows you that he's got his feet right on the ground. He is brand new, just brand new. You probably saw the very first effort that he ever had in Championship Wrestling. He is teamed up with an unusual guy, Joe LeDuc, who just whipped Big Gaddafi right across the ring.
Boy, these two guys are both huge, both weighing over 280 pounds. LeDuc with about a 4-pound weight advantage. And he put a right hand to good use there, as you can tell from the reaction from Abdul Gaddafi.
Pat Rose takes the tag. Pat took a little look at who he was going to be against, but I've never seen Rose back up from anybody yet, and I don't suppose he'll back up from Joe, at least until after he's been in there with him for a little while. He's got a headlock on Rose. LeDuc, very strong. Oh, wow. Good night. Did you see that shoulder?
It's like a truck ran over him.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. He murdered him with that shoulder alone. It just splattered him on that canvas. LeDuc swings with the right hand. You are not going to see too much finesse in that. He just uses that superior power. And yet, Dave, saying that, it makes it sound like he's just a plotter and a clubber. LeDuc is so fast for a guy that big. I can't believe it every time I've seen him display some of that speed. He's got it.
He's got the tools, no doubt about it. We've seen him with drop kicks and all sorts of things.
Doesn't that knock you out when you see that guy go up with a drop? Look at here! Speaking of drop kicks, Joe LeDuc popped Pat Rose down, and there's a tag on Jeff Jarrett. Catches him with a flying press.
Pat Rose whipped into the rope. Good shoulder by Rose coming off of there. And this time Jeff Jarrett's waiting for him. Look at Jeff move.
That's one thing we said about him the very first time we saw him in action. He's got a lot of learning to do. He's got a lot of experience to get under his belt, but God gave him great speed, and boy, he has plenty of that.
He's got that athletic ability. He can move in the ring, and he's going to have to use that in his career because he doesn't have all the size that, for instance, a LeDuc has. Look at that. Nice move. Good reversal by Jeff Jarrett. He takes Pat Rose down to the mat and has got him there with a left arm bar. Tony Falk yelling and screaming about hair pulling down at ringside.
Good combination of a hip toss right back into an arm drag as he popped Pat over and down and goes into a bar in there. Jeff with marvelous high school credentials as a basketball player, excellent in college, and I think we told you last week, academic All-American at Aquinas where he goes to school.
Tony Falk calling for some action here. He's not happy with the predicament Rose is in at the moment. Oh, Gaddafi got him with a knee as he came over into the rope.
There's some of that inexperience when he was making the cross, and he ran right into Gaddafi, who just blasted him down on the mat.
Jeff being choked by Gaddafi. Referee counting for the break. Gaddafi breaking it and then went right back to him. Now he's got him over the top rope, choking him with a rope. The body slam by Gaddafi. Look out, he goes to the ropes, drops down with the arm. Might be at the cover. Count of one is all he got. Jeff able to break out of it at the 1 count. Pat Rose. I think he hit him with a thumb. Looked like he jabbed that thumb in his throat.
Well, this is what you call learning the hard way, and Jeff, very determined, slammed back at him. He's a fighter, no doubt about that. Rose goes to the throat. That shows you Pat was upset and irritated when he nailed him because he got him hot enough to go right for the throat in front of the referee. And Pat Rose, rough, tough son of a gun, I'll tell you. He takes an elbow and plants it on Jeff. Buries him on that mat. Covers him. 2. Our time winding down here on Championship Wrestling. We'll check it all for you in just a moment. Gaddafi, big body slam.
Look out from the middle rope. Hey, Jeff Jarrett out of the way. Needs a tag. He gets it on Joe LeDuc. Look out. Falk around the ring is working on Jeff Jarrett. And the referee has disqualified him. He's disqualified him because Falk was interfering.
Falk ran around the ring and nailed Jeff Jarrett, who was down on the ring apron. Jeff had just gotten off a tag to Joe LeDuc, and LeDuc was in slamming Rose and Gaddafi, and Jeff was catching his breath on the ring apron, and Falk zipped around there, started beating on him, and now he is just hammering him from one post to the next on the turnbuckles, while Gaddafi and Pat Rose, here comes Lawler.
Lawler came in there looking for Falk. Falk was working on Jeff Jarrett while Rose and Gaddafi were keeping LeDuc out of it. There the hands raised. Jeff and Joe LeDuc are going to get the victory by disqualification here.
We'll check the time. Be back in a moment. Gaddafi and Leduc butt heads in there.
Boy,
That's
big guys.
an explosion, boy. You got that right. Hey, we just flat about out of time here.
You're
We
right.
carried
Good
her
matches
down.
today.
We got in just as much as we could get in today. Plenty of it as we took it right to the wire. But next week we'll be back with more of it too. I kind of got an interest out of looking at how Landel and Dundee look at a situation when we ran that tape in there. We may try that 2 or 3 times in the future. That's all for Dave Brown, Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of Championship Wrestling.